Welcome back to another week of history. This is your week 4 update for World History 10. This week we are continuing our pursuit of trying to make sense of the coronavirus pandemic through a historical lens. You guys brought a lot of good insights into the similarities between the Black Death and our current coronavirus pandemic. When a disease is not well understood, people sort of grasp for all kinds of people to blame and ways to treat it. We have a desire as human beings to always be in control, and there's nothing really more out of our control than a full-blown pandemic. The question then becomes, how do we retake control to actually stop a pandemic? Hopefully our assignment this week will help us start to answer that question. Checking out our unit plan, the historical pandemic we're going to be looking at this week is smallpox, specifically focusing on high-risk populations, meaning who was most at risk for catching this disease, and how was this pandemic eventually defeated. Out of all the historical pandemics that we're going to study in this class, smallpox is far and away the most devastating. This disease is ancient. Over hundreds and even thousands of years, countless human beings have fallen victim to smallpox. Some of the earliest identified cases of smallpox go all the way back to ancient Egypt. But there are certain times in history when smallpox could really be considered a pandemic, meaning that it spread far, it spread fast, and it killed a lot of people along the way. The reason I think smallpox is a pandemic worthy of studying is because it is one of the biggest factors in shaping the way history played out, especially in the Americas. And also, because smallpox was such a devastating disease, it's in response to smallpox that we really see the history of vaccines. Now, this is getting a little more into science territory, so let me hand it off to somebody a little more qualified to talk about what is a vaccine and how does it combat a virus.
Hi, it's me, Mr. Tynan. I'm going to give you a quick rundown on how vaccines can help defeat a virus. I want to draw your attention to this thing right here, a smallpox virus. Specifically, I want to draw your attention to these round surface tubules. Now, these are receptors. A vaccine, when it's injected into a body, will encourage your immune system to create antibodies, and that's what these are right here. They basically fit over these receptors, and when enough antibodies surround a virus, it prevents the virus from binding to any of your cells. It takes a while for your immune system to learn what kind of antibodies to fit over these receptors. Otherwise, it's like trying to turn a flathead screw with a Phillips head screwdriver. It just doesn't work. But when it does learn how to do this, basically the virus is shut down, it's destroyed, and you are immune.
Thanks, Mr. Tynan. Without further ado, let's check out your assignment for this week. The second historical pandemic we're going to look at is smallpox. No disease in human history has been so destructive. The true deadliness of smallpox became clear about 500 years ago when Europeans, who had developed some immunity to the disease, made contact with Native American civilizations for the first time. Native Americans had a higher risk of catching smallpox because they lacked this immunity. Today, smallpox has been completely destroyed thanks to vaccines. Your assignment this week begins with reading a source about the strange history of vaccines, which began in response to smallpox. The information in this source is fair game for our quiz at the end of the unit, so take a few notes. Then you will show your understanding of how new vaccines are created today. To do this, open the document below titled Steps to Develop a New Vaccine. So here you can see all the different steps to creating a new vaccine. They are intentionally out of order. It's your job to reassemble them in the correct order. This will require a mix of prior knowledge, common sense, and a little bit of research. There are a couple different ways you can complete this part of the assignment. If you have a printer, you can simply print this page out, cut out each step, reorganize them, and take a picture once they're in the correct sequence. Otherwise, you could create a comic strip that labels and illustrates each step in the process. Now, if you have a different idea of how you might show those steps in the correct order, just go for it. Submit a picture of your work by clicking the Add and Create button. My hope is that by seeing all the different steps in the process of creating a vaccine, we can start being a little more realistic about our expectations for how and when the coronavirus pandemic will truly come to an end. Quick shout out to Mr. Tynan for helping us out this week, and thank you to all of you for all of your hard work so far. I will talk to you soon. Peace.